Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the model complexity. Let me share my screen. I hope it's visible. So based on the survey paper, let's discuss the overview of model complexity in deep learning. As we all know, deep learning models are trained and are expected to provide results on a particular data boundary. And there are a lot of parameters involved in the process of modeling a deep learning architecture. In this process, the model complexity it's a huge topic in itself to be discussed. Model complexity helps us to answer the questions such as what are the limitations of a particular model, power of a model with respect to bounding the generalization error, regularization during the training process, providing insights into the model sensitivity, and how to optimize the model. Model complexity is still under an exploration phase. So hence I'm trying to help in understanding the overall process of model complexity. So there are two types of model complexity. One is the expressive model capacity and another is the effective model complexity. To understand it in a better way, by definition, expressive model capacity actually defines the upper boundary of the complexity that the model can handle. In other words, it defines the hypothesis space that guarantees learnability of model and deriving generalization boundaries. Let me explain it with the help of an example. Let's suppose we built a cat dog classifier, and now we are trying to give it a random bird and trying to predict. It will not be able to predict, right? Because the capacity, the boundary space of the model is is has been defined for the cat or the dog classifier. Now for the same model, what is the effective model complexity? It reflects the complexity of the model with respect to the parameters of the model. It helps in improving the model strategy for optimization and how to select the model based and how to select the parameters of the model. Since there are a lot of parameters involved in in a deep learning model, let's try to example express both of these parameters with respect to a simple example. Let's take an example of quadratic function f of x is equals to x square plus bx plus c. Now this is defined in such a way that it is a quadratic polynomial since it's a power of 2. This is the expressive capacity. That means it can handle a complex nature of power 2 quadratic equation. But let's say the value of a is 0 here and b and c are not 0. Then in this case it becomes a linear function. So the effective complexity lowers down to a linear function. Now it became a linear function, though the expressive capacity still remains a quadratic polynomial. So there is a difference of what we have modeled, but what now it's trying to do is of a lower level. Now, going on to the next slide, what are the ways in which studying of model complexity will actually help us? So, model complexity helps in uh, in many factors. A few of them are model generalization capacity, optimization in model complexity, model selection and design. Let's understand what each of these are. Generalization capacity means a model can handle a large space of hypotheses. While training for the same data, model which has higher generalization capacity is tends to be less complex. That means it's less overfitting. Whereas good generalization, how do we achieve good generalization? This is a result of data augmentation, and there is lower sensitivity and lower effective complexity. the model is able to handle variance of data. Optimization in model complexity is achieved by studying the changes or the progression of model optimization, how the model is learning, how it is behaving for certain parameters. And studying the complexity also helps in the model selection. There is generally a trade-off in deep learning models between the accuracy and the power of computation. Models should not be too complex as the computational cost increases, and hence a simpler model with comparatively higher accuracy is always preferred. Now, discussing the expressive capacity and effective complexity in depth. Few of the parameters in expressive capacity are depth efficiency. The deeper the model, generally it tends to show a good performance, and thus it has a higher expressive capacity. Width of efficiency. Width of efficiency helps in validating the insights which we have derived from depth efficiency. However, width also contributes in a good performance. Expressive functional space with respect to the framework of the model and the size of the model. VC dimension and the Rademacher complexity. VC dimension is how the model is able to cater to a large number of large number of rows of data. So that in the sample space. And Rademacher complexity is handling large number of random labels. So if there are multiple features for the same data, how well the model is able to handle it. Moving on to the next part, that is effective complexity. Deep learning models are sensitive to change in different parameter values. Piecewise linear property means the activation functions such as ReLU, TANH, they generate large number of linear regions or in the input space. Not just regions, as well as the density in the input space. So how well the model, it reflects the number of linear regions that are present in the model. High capacity, low reality phenomena. The meaning of high capacity, low reality phenomena is when there is a shallow model, whether it is able to replicate the model in a way that whether it is, if there is a shallow model and there is a deep model, if both of them are giving the same performance, that means there is a huge gap in the practical effectivity of the complexity if we are going for a deeper model. So theoretically, the boundary of expression capacity and the actual effective complexity are very different. And we should always try to go for a lower complexity model. The other state of art studies which are going on for model complexity are with respect to the model size, optimization process, and data complexity. There are other observation and future research areas which are present with respect to model complexity, such as in case of deep polynomial network. If there is a very narrow layer, no matter how wide the other layers are, I mean the first layer and the layers which are going to be after that, the network never corresponds to convex functional space. So it is very important how the layers have been structured and designed. Research on the bottlenecks of expressive capacity may help to handle many other problems as well. Comparison of model complexity across various deep model networks can help in model selection and design as well. So in case of any questions, please email me And I would like to also share the link for the survey in the PPT itself. Thank you.